What else we got? Oh, and this one's not coming. This is one we can do. It's called, these are cheesy chicken crispand. I don't know how to say this word. Crispandas. I'll put up on the screen and see if I'm correct on that. And they're not available everywhere yet. I think they're launching them in Atlanta, and then if they do well, they're going to push them out to everyone else. But these things look interesting. Am I saying that correct? Crispanda?
Well, it's like an enchilada, so crispanadas.
Crispinadas. Wow, I am
Yeah, that was
dyslexic.
really bad. That was really bad, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Woo! It's gonna be better this week. We're starting, baby.
We might have to actually start recording like the week that I put it out, so there's like even more topical stuff going on.
That's
I don't
fine.
know.
I don't care.
We might have to start doing that, and I can edit it pretty fast. It's not hard as long as it's not all
Do you
messed up.
release them on Wednesdays or Thursdays?
No.
Or?
So I have right now. I release them on Tuesdays. So like all of my long form content. So like the YouTube videos, which I have 6 already uploaded.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw you. Well, I saw you have been uploading some other stuff on your other channel.
Yeah, so the sports performance, it's just every other week. So a podcast comes out on Tuesday one week, which was this week, and then next week it's a sports performance. So my long form, I'm just alternating.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I'm doing stuff so fast now, I can almost maybe get away with doing the other YouTube, maybe once a week. But right now, I'm going to stick with what I got because it's working pretty well.
Nice.
But a funny story. One of my lacrosse athletes, I guess they started about 3 weeks ago, and I gave one of the athletes a duck because I'm giving more ducks out, and I just ordered some. And whenever I give a duck out, I kind of give a team or a group the spiel of the duck story and what it's related to the podcast, blah blah blah. And she came back the next day and she goes, "I listened to your podcast." I was like, "Oh, cool." And then one of the ones goes, "I listened to your podcast." Well, just wait. She goes, "Listen to your podcast." And then later on, I asked her, I was like, how long did you listen? How much did you listen to it? And she goes, not very long. She goes, "I have a short attention span." I was like, okay. And I was like, "Well, what'd you watch it on YouTube or what?" She goes, "On Reels." I was like, "That's not my podcast. That's just where I do that."
No.
I was like, "You watched a minute or less."
She didn't make it through the reel, man. That's pretty tough.
Well, the reel that she was talking about was on the Edge Instagram, which is not even the podcast. It's just me doing a video.
Just you talking.
Yeah. So I was like, "Well, you just watched a reel that I did in the same area." And that's not the first time that's happened. It's happened like twice now where someone's like, "Yeah, I saw your podcast and I wanted to ask about training," which is fine. But I'm like, well, it wasn't my podcast. It was just another video.
It's fine.
No, that's totally fine.
They're all sort of connected, right? You know?
Yeah. It's what's kind of tricky to like do voiceover and try to change where the setting where you're doing stuff, and here it's easy, but I do change up the background, I guess.
The sand is still there, so
yeah. Well, I need it. This background is atrocious right now, but like when I do my short form stuff that's vertical,
it's over on the wall.
It's all different. Yeah, it's different for
cool.
all of them. It's different from all of them.
How many athletes do you train like at a time, or is it just constantly changing?
It changes. So like September is always September and say like March are always the lowest months out of the year because it's like a transition period.
Yeah. Between sports.
Yeah.
That
So
makes sense.
I have the least amount of athletes right now, and then once stuff starts ending, kind of beginning of October, mid-October, and that's when everything picks back up. So I don't have. This is my lowest right now, and it picks back up October all the way through February. But I have a couple of teams, which makes it easier, and then my groups. So it's not super.
No, but I mean like 100
on average.
Yeah,
150. Busy. Yeah, busy seasons usually like over the summer, 150 or so.
Okay.
In busy season, I need to be training over 100 people, which I typically do. So
yeah. That's cool. I just didn't know. You should get like a little wall. I mean, I know it's not technically your place, but like you should get a wall where they like sign their name if they've been there.
Yeah, I actually
trained with you
at River City, that gym. I got like a bunch of poster boards and had people doing that, and it was pretty cool. And it's something I definitely could do again. You just got to hang it up, and as long as I'm not tearing up the walls, Mike won't care. It's just
all right. That's cool.
It's something to do. So I haven't really hung up a lot of stuff over there. I need to. One of my athletes, I was like, "Are you gonna decorate for Halloween?" I was like, "Well, I put a tree up during Christmas."
Just cobwebs everywhere.
Yeah, I'm not a big Halloween fan. I like fall, but Halloween for me is not.
You don't like Halloween?
It's my least favorite holiday.
What? All right, no. We're ranking them now. We're ranking them now. Now, how many? What are the big ones? Like Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween.
Easter, 4th of July.
Yeah, Easter, 4th of July. Anything else we're missing?
So my birthday. I'm just kidding.
Whatever.
Exactly. The
Okay,
birthday argument. Well, it's definitely Christmas is number one, I think. That's pretty easy.
I agree.
Yeah.
Christmas top. What's your second? I think this is what shows people's true colors.
My second, and I don't know if you could really throw 4th of July in there, but I like 4th of July just because I, I just like 4th of July. The food.
See, I don't even like consider 4th of July like a thing. Like it's an event that happens every year. That's it. So it's like bottom tier. My second would have to be Thanksgiving and then Halloween, or flip those two. I don't really care. They're tied for second.
I honestly just think a lot of Thanksgiving food is incredibly overrated.
Hmm.
It's just not my thing. I mean, I'll eat it, but it's just I would rather have Super Bowl food
Yeah,
way more than I want Thanksgiving food.
it's
So if it's
true.
about the
I
food,
agree.
then I would put the Super Bowl up there as higher than Thanksgiving. If that's I
Yeah,
mean, if
I
that's
get that.
allowed.
I get that. No, I get that. But I think that's why fall is so goaded, and that's why it's the best time of year. It has Halloween, Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, just back to back to back months.
Yeah. I mean, you can even in Louisville,
Can't beat it.
you
You
can
cannot.
consider. Yeah, I mean, you consider it Derby too. I mean, if I was gonna put
That's
like,
true. It kind of is a holiday.
if I was gonna put like special days, like I would be, it'd be like Christmas, maybe Derby second because that week, and that's my birthday week typically too. So
Oh,
it's
that is
kind of
pretty hype.
yeah, Derby.
Although I feel like that's not hype, right? Never mind. I take that back. I take that back. Having a thing near your birthday, I feel like it diminishes your birthday sometimes.
Well, yes and no. The nice thing for me that I care about the most is I get around that time I get time off of work because everyone's off. So
Hmm.
like that's like the most important thing for me is like it's a holiday that I get time off, and it's not always on Derby. It's in that within that week,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
it might
yeah.
be. So it kind of just like it's nice. It's like a perfect time to have a birthday
That's
in
cool.
Louisville.
That's cool.
I think I really enjoy it.
All right, that ran over. What were we talking about?
Uh,
Halloween decorations, your gym.
yeah,
Anyways, we'll move past that.
I'm not gonna decorate it. It's not gonna happen. I do Christmas, but Halloween and all that, that's too much work. I gotta not gonna do it. Did you win your fantasy? I already know the answer to this because Lauren
Uh,
played you.
no, I didn't. I'm pretty sure she beat me. She kind of
Yeah.
dominated. Yeah,
Yeah,
she
she has
dominated.
Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is
Yeah, he's a beast. He's a monster. Her team is actually just really good. Her running backs aren't great, but like everyone else, killer.
well. I played Lamar again, and Kirk Cousins put another 40 points down. I think
Dude,
I'm gonna have to
I
start playing
have
Kirk.
I have Kirk in my other league. He's going crazy.
I might have to play him over Lamar Jackson, even though Lamar still won. I don't care. I'm going for the points. Kirk Cousins is. I told you at the beginning of the season, Kirk
Dude,
Cousins
I
is the
say
man
he is. Well, yeah, he's
as of
pretty good.
now.
He's pretty good. I sent you a trade actually.
Yeah, I saw that in my email earlier. I'll check it out. If you're trying to ask me for Lamar again,
No, I'm not actually. I don't care about Lamar anymore.
no, I don't even know who you'd be trying to get then.
It's fine.
Yeah, I won my game, and it's going well. It's only 2 games so far.
Yeah,
I, I refuse to watch that injury though, the Browns injury. Did you watch the video?
dude. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. They someone posted a replay of it on Twitter, but the announcers were like, "We're not going to show this replay," and you can hear in the background the stadium because they showed it in the stadium, and the fans were not happy watching that.
Yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, there's a guy on the Browns, Nick Chubb. Is it Chubb or Chubb? Is it
Chubb,
just Chubb? Okay,
Nick
Nick
Chubb.
Chubb. He got a really crazy injury. I refuse to watch it because I hate watching injuries like that. And I saw a video the next morning, okay, and it was said something in the whatever, and then I heard what you said with the fans and their reaction to watching it,
Mm-hmm.
and I immediately go, "Nope, not watching that."
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. it's pretty brutal. Because I mean, I guess to describe it to some people, I won't really go full in, but his knee was planted, his leg was planted, and someone ran into his knee. So you
Yeah.
can kind of visualize what happens after that.
It's not a fun injury. And I don't think it was on turf because I put out a video
No, I
last
don't think
week.
so.
Yeah, I put out last week about how with Aaron Rodgers getting his injury, it was kind of time to get rid of the turf.
So why? I mean, do you know why? Why does turf cause injuries like that, or have a higher risk for injuries like that?
Well, here's the crazy thing. When I was doing that video about Aaron Rodgers, I mean, there was 2 Achilles tears that first week. The amount of injuries was
Yeah.
crazy high. And I was looking up not just to find the reasons for it, but, and this is not to harp on the, what is the commissioner? What's the main guy of the NFL?
Yeah. Commissioner Roger Goodell.
Yeah. He, they did several interviews post that game, and he's talked about it at length. And they've done research on the if injuries have increased. And there's always like this. There's this outlier year in like 2022 in comparison to when they were doing all of the turf field stuff. That was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
it was about the same as 2023. Blah blah blah. Turf versus non-turf. So it was like 1 year as an outlier, and they use that as like, well, scientific data backs that it's similar. Get out of here. Um, it's more or less a great example is there's different like types of turf, and I
Yep.
don't know if you have you ever played on like a turf that has like the black rubber.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I've played on a few different types of turf for baseball, and they're all weird and different, and it's interesting. There's a
Yeah.
whole
So
science. I have a friend who's getting a turf management degree in college.
really,
Turf management. Yes.
huh?
And like sports, like it's like a field and turf management, and it's at Western Kentucky. And I don't know the exact name for it, but it's basically just like how to manage different kinds of sports fields, playing fields, stuff like that.
Oh, there has to be enough demand for that to be a
I
thing if
know.
that's true.
I know.
Well, so you played on. When I was younger, I always played on the ones that had the black rubber that always gets in your shoes, gets really hot. Well,
Mm-hmm.
over at King Louis, they have a turf that has these green little small beads, which I'd never seen before. Have you
Oh,
seen that
okay.
before?
No, I haven't.
So the turf doesn't get as hot. I don't know what it changes about the turf, but I've ran on it with cleats. And in comparison, the turf at King Louis definitely has a lot more grip to it. Like when your cleat
Ooh,
goes in, you're
okay.
in,
Yeah.
which when you have a turf field that underneath of it has a harder surface, because there is going to be a harder surface under the
Yeah.
turf, on top of the fact that you have a surface that doesn't have as much give when you're planting, you want that give because if you don't have the give for the foot to slide through turf with impact and it's just gripped in there, the thing that's going to
Yeah,
take it.
that's
Yeah.
I guess that's how that stuff happens, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the easiest way to explain it, and I think they can look at the data as much as they want to or argue about it, and it's just like it's not. No, don't.
Mm,
It's. There's no. I don't think there's a way to really argue it.
yeah. I don't know. It's just it's sad to see injuries like that. And I mean, to some degree, there's kind of no way to prevent them, right? I mean, you could do everything you can, especially the Nick Chubb one is kind of what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
Like you could do everything you can to keep players safe, but at some point, a hit like that is just going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, when I was again looking at research for that, because I actually spent a decent amount of time because I don't want to put out videos that's just falsifying information, but I was trying to look at the differences in size of athletes compared to years ago when turf really wasn't as prevalent, and I couldn't get they a lot of the information was extensive where it had like every position, this is the weight difference, blah blah. There wasn't a
Hmm.
big average, but overall there is a significant difference in maybe not as much height, but as there
Wait.
is weight
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
speed. So when
Dude,
you have
linemen now are crazy. Like the average height, and I don't know this exactly, but I'm almost certain it's 6'3" or 6'4" of an
mhm.
offensive and defensive lineman. And I mean, the average weight has to be over 270. Is that sound about right?
Yeah, they said there wasn't that much difference in height, which I can get maybe like 1 to 2 inches, but the weight was like, yeah, it was like way up. And
Yeah.
then their
And they
weight's
can
way up.
move. They
Yeah.
can run too.
So when you increase that weight and then you increase that speed, it's just basically like taking let's take a little truck versus a big truck, and instead of going 60 miles an hour, it's going 75. So the momentum is like there's a lot more risk
Oh,
going on.
jeez, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you deal with at the gym? This is going to be a sports podcast, I guess. So enjoy, folks. Do you deal with a lot of rehab type work?
Um, Not a ton. Sometimes like bridging out ACLs. So like an athlete gets an ACL injury some at a certain, like whenever they get one, and then they go to PT for 6 months or so,
Yeah.
and then they'll come to me as like a bridging process where they need to go from PT, which usually PT kind of takes them to a livable standard, but maybe not necessarily to the extent that they need to be to go back in their sport. So I kind of take care of that part.
Okay. So
Or
you get them recovered to performance level, but not from like injured level, I guess.
yeah, there's a certain, yeah. If they're injured, I will have athletes sometimes. Let's say, for example, I've had a couple of athletes that weren't my athletes before, but parents called me and they were having inflammation of their knees, and it was both of them were volleyball players, and it was just because they've been jumping so much and it was just too much going on.
Yeah.
So instead of them playing their season, their doctor actually opted them to say, don't play season. So then they're still pretty injured and they come to me and I'll kind of just get them back to where they need to be. And
Yeah.
usually it means they're not jumping as much or they're riding the bike and not doing impact and then lifting. So
Yeah. That makes
yeah.
sense. That's cool.
Yep. I don't know if more food stuff. Oh, this is probably the last sports thing we'll talk about. Maybe we. Oh no, no. There's a couple more things I have on the list here
Yeah.
because we didn't
Yeah.
talk about. We'll talk about Joe Burrow, and this is for Aaron. So Aaron has Joe Burrow on her team. He's not doing great. Okay,
No, he's not. It's
we'll put it lightly, and
okay.
and so she was texting the group chat, and I was watching the game, and I decided to, you know what, I'm going to take a video on this snap and see what happens, and then send it to the group. And that exact snap, and I don't know if you watched the video or not, that I sent that exact snap, he gets the ball and basically just runs into the back of one of his teammates and gets sacked. I'm like, this was perfect timing, and they lost.
Oh no.
One of my athletes said
No.
he got all that money and forgot how to play football.
I think he's still hurt, if I'm being honest. I think there's a lot of issues. I mean, the offense looks weak, kind of lazy, and I think he's just kind of hobbling around on his calf. I don't know. I really couldn't tell you a definitive answer that defends him, but what are you doing? Cut
Sorry,
it out.
there was a pretty aggressive Kylo hair in the front of the mic, so I
Cut it
muted it
out.
and take it
Can
off.
you hear the vacuum in the hallway?
Slightly, it's not a big deal. It's
All
fine.
right, well, sorry, guys.
Kick him out.
We'll aim the mic this way.
Yeah, so Joe Burrow is not doing so hot. This is. I posted a video, and it's interesting what TikTok is doing. I posted a video, I don't know, like 3 or 4 weeks ago on why hell weeks are bad, and people have still been commenting on it. And I'm going to do a whole video on this, but I want to get your thoughts on someone. I want to get your thoughts on this, just someone
Okay.
else. So it's not just my brain going through it and being like, I'm right. I essentially said hell weeks are bad. And then the responses from a lot of football athletes is no, they're necessary. If you're going into war with your teammates, you need to be able to endure a hell week. All this kind of rah machismo attitude, which is fine.
Going
And
into war, man. Whatever. Keep going.
let me actually kind of want to pull up what I said. So I say it almost verbatim here. So I've responded back to, if I can pull it up. So I responded back to it. And I always, whenever I respond to, I think this athlete was probably in high school, I always want to be, the educator, not to be like confrontational or anything along
Yeah.
those lines, right? I just want to not trying to stir up any nonsense, but try to, if someone else gets into the questions or gets into the comment section, they're also kind of able to look at it and decide for themselves whether I'm right or wrong. I'm not. There's so many comments in this video. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. Let's see.
I don't know, man. I mean, I do appreciate. I think the one tangible element of like a hell week that isn't based in science or reasonable like body and health like management is the fact that you do bond as a team through interactions and moments like that, right? Like doing something that is very difficult together is going to make a better team than not going through something like that.
Yeah, which I agree with, but it's always maybe it's the more or less the interpretation of what a hell week is. And I think my interpretation of a hell week is just really getting crushed. And a lot of times that ends up with the risk of injury or
Yeah.
kids being traumatized. Uh, it could be along those lines, but
Yeah, I mean, you definitely got to define what specifically the team is doing during that training, and like if they're doing things that are way too intense for too much time, then yeah, that's definitely not good. But if they're doing things that are intense at a reasonable pace, you know, I mean, there's only so much. For me personally, when I hear about like training, especially for a full on contact sport like football, there's only so much you can do to limit injuries, right?
yeah, yeah. So I found it here. So um, hell week. So he said, no, I disagree with the whole basis of a hell week. Uh, is to break you down and just build you back up. It's like the army, and it's what football is about. And then I responded back with, it's always football's reasoning, but you're not actually going to war. That's a romanticized dramatic concept that's pushed out about a high school coaches that are looking at the lack of performance versus ego. And then he's responded back with, what you're saying is a wuss version of football.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll just skip the next part of that. And then my response is, no NFL team does a hell week. Are they wusses or are they just smarter? What you're referring to is tradition based on coaches not necessarily being taught what is better. And then I won't go any further, but my response back to it is, and and you bring up a very good point. It's based on how far you're taking that hell
Mhm.
week. Doing
Yeah,
hard things and difficult things together to build as a team, I think a different different than a hell week.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Um, that's so interesting. That's such a God. That's such a warped mentality that like it's like a wuss attitude to not do intense things stupidly, you know?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, intense things stupidly is the best way that I think of a
I
hell
think
week.
that's probably the best way to describe it, at
Yeah, and
least in my layman's terms right now, is doing intense things really dumb, you know?
yeah, that's what a hell week is. That's how
Yeah.
I think of it. That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
that's well put. I don't even think we have to go any further than that. But
No,
to say
that's it.
football is like war, I get the lines,
Oh,
but
that's so goofy, man. I mean, I get it, but also get over yourself a little bit.
yeah, I understand it's
Ooh,
challenging. It's not to take away.
sorry.
It's not to say that it's not challenging. I get it. It's definitely
Yeah.
challenging. Yeah, it is physically demanding, but it's not. It's not the same as going to war. Yeah, it's just not. I love as I'm saying these things, and I'm wearing like my Yami shirt over here. I've got an Edge hat on. I've got I mean, come on, man. There's
Little
gonna be like, look
anime
at this.
boy.
Yeah, look at this little nerd. You don't know me.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man.
Are they vacuuming your door?
I guess. I don't know, man. They're going crazy.
I sent you. I didn't follow up with it, but I wanted to ask you today. Maybe it's something we should start doing. Is
The Taco Bell thing?
yeah, I think it would be fun to have like every episode because we're only doing this every other week for the most part. It's reasonable. Every other episode, we do some type of something food
Food
related.
review.
Yeah, I think it'd be
Food
fun.
review. I like food. And if you all like food out there, you should listen to this. We
So
haven't eaten anything though, so
no,
there's nothing to review.
yeah, I saw a video and it was talking about one of the new items from Taco Bell that came out at the beginning of the month. I was like, it looks pretty good. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I looked. I wanted to. I couldn't remember what it was. So I looked it up, and apparently they had several new items that came out. And I was like, man, maybe Cole and I should do a segment on the pod where we do some type of food review on something that's new that's came out or
That
something
sounds
that
fun.
is, yeah. So maybe we'll do that.
Every time there's something new, that's what we'll do.
Yeah, Taco Bell does it pretty
New
frequently.
fast food items we will
So
review.
let's look up. We did the Chick
Fast
Fil A.
food, and we'll call it fast food review. Reviews in under 2 minutes.
Nice. Yeah, we did the Chick Fil A, which was pretty good. Now, so this is the thing. They have a cheesy jalapeno Mexican pizza, which you can take off the jalapenos, which just means it's the Mexican pizza. Do you like the Mexican pizza from Taco
Here's the
Bell?
thing: I will try it with the jalapenos on,
Okay.
and I will give an honest opinion.
Do you like the Mexican pizza? You ever had it before?
Long time ago.
It's good.
Long time ago.
And then they brought back the rolled chicken tacos, which I've never had before.
Huh. Interesting.
They look unique. Look at these things.
Yeah. They look like taquitos.
Yep. And then the one that I wanted to try that I looked up is these $2 chicken burritos. They're rolled chicken tacos and poultry chicken burritos. They're
Pol-
enchilada flavored
s-
burritos.
Did it say poultry chicken burritos?
No, I was reading really fast.
Oh, okay.
But they're enchilada burritos. They look good. Look at these things. That's the one I wanted. That's the one I was looking at.
That's pretty sick.
So yeah, we should do a food section, I think. And it freezes. Strawberry twist. That's disgusting.
That sounds nasty. Yeah, no, that sounds nasty.
Oh, what else we got? Oh, and this one's not coming. This is one we can do. It's called, these are cheesy chicken crispand. I don't know how to say this word. Crispandas. I'll put up on the screen and see if I'm correct on that. And they're not available everywhere yet. I think they're launching them in Atlanta, and then if they do well, they're going to push them out to everyone else. But these things look interesting. Am I saying that correct? Crispanda?
Well, it's like an enchilada, so crispanadas.
Crispanadas. Wow, I am
Yeah, that was
dyslexic.
really bad. That was really bad, dude.
Yeah, I know. That's why I send Lauren all of my emails before I send them out.
You said crispanda, dude.
Crispanda.
Oh my god.
Woo! We're going at it today. 12 on a Wednesday. 12. Yeah, so we'll do food section. I think that'd be fun.
That would be fun. I like food. You like food. And
We
you
all
all
like
at
food.
home like food as well.
Yeah, I've been doing it. I put out two food videos that have been doing great. And I'm going to put out some more because I've got a couple of basically what I've done is, for example, salsa. My dad's been growing a lot of tomatoes
Mm-hmm.
and he's been giving me a lot of tomatoes. So I've been
Naturally.
yeah. So I've been making salsa and a lot of the recipes that I do, I'll look up stuff on TikTok and then I'll look up stuff on YouTube and then I'll kind of blend it together to make one recipe and then trial and error. Okay, I like this, don't like this, and keep expanding upon it until I kind of perfect it based on my preference. And I think I've really knocked certain things out of the park. So I'm going to do videos on them. One of them being salsa. My salsa, whoo, it's good stuff. So I'll be doing videos on it.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, I asked you about. I have asked. I don't know. This probably happened a month ago at this point. I've asked 20 people this. No one even knew about it. The only reason I knew about it was because of another podcast. Kevin Hart. Do you know what happened to him?
No, I have no idea. You just you said it at the beginning before it recorded, and I have no concept of what he could possibly be injured with or whatever.
So Kevin Hart decided to race a former NFL athlete in a 40-yard dash. And he is.
Oh, I do remember hearing about that. Yeah.
And he injured himself to the extent that he was wheelchair bound. I don't know if he's still in a wheelchair, but he pulled his ab and his adductors.
What?
All in one sprint to the point where he couldn't walk. So he was in a wheelchair. Yeah.
For how long?
I don't know.
How do you do that? I mean, do you physically push yourself to the absolute limit?
It's being 44 years old and your nervous system is still wired and you cognitively think that you can still move at fast rates and your body physically is not able to abruptly go with that much force. And then that stuff happens. Yep.
That's crazy, dude. That's crazy.
I don't know if there's a video of it or not. Let's see. Wait, maybe there is a video of it. I'm going to start playing it here as I'm going to turn off the audio. They're just like in a street. If this is actually the video, that would be wild. No. He looks like he's okay after that one. Yeah, so he injured. Yeah, so he was in a wheelchair because of it. Poor Kevin Hart.
That's unbelievable. So his abs, he pulled his abs?
Yeah, it says hip adductor and abdominal. So I don't know if you pull. I try to figure out specifically what he said, what he had. It didn't really give a lot, but it was like
I mean, if you
abs,
pull something in your core, that affects literally every part of your life.
injuring his abdomen during a race. I think it was abs and abductors.
Dude, because like, and you can definitely speak to this more than I could, but your abs and your abdomen do so much more than you actually realize.
Oh yeah,
It
well,
is unbelievable.
yeah, it's like
So
when
if
you're.
you pulled something like that, I mean, it would radically affect your life.
Well, I pulled my ab. I don't know if I told this on the podcast before. This was about 2 years ago, I guess, year and a half ago. I played soccer my whole life, and I was coaching, and there was a rogue soccer ball on the field, and I was kind of juggling it
Oh, this
a
is
little
going to be
bit.
embarrassing for you.
And as I'm juggling the ball, just kind of kicking it off the wall a little bit. We're doing warm ups, and then just leave it. The ball's there the next day. Still kind of doing the same thing. I'm on like my second to last class or so, and I was volleying the ball off the wall. So the ball's a little bit off the ground, and I was kicking it off the wall. Not super, super hard. And then I decided to try to kick the ball off the floor. Well, that abrupt and aggressive kick with the little bit more of a reach because it's on the floor immediately pulled my ab. I felt it go straight up, and
Oh,
it affected me for
that
a
is
while.
awful. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when someone was telling me everything that the core is engaged in, and then I would like notice my core being engaged in certain moments. I'm like, what? This is so weird. And it's for the most random things. Like I couldn't explain to you what your core is involved in, but like it is a lot of things.
I mean, it's pretty much everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Like
yeah,
standing up,
yeah.
sitting down, controlled, like walking, like moving your arms, twisting your body, everything.
All core. And then the more sore you are, the more you're gonna feel it. It's definitely a factor. All right, you told me to write down college football or college gym.
College gym.
What
This
is
is
your?
my story for the week.
Oh, okay.
So, so you remember how I said we moved into an apartment that has a gym, right? And it doesn't have any benches or anything. It's got pretty standard basic equipment.
Yeah.
Yes. So I realized, oh, I'm now a college student again, so I have access to the gym. So maybe I should check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds great, right? No, it was horrible. It was a horrible experience. Horrible experience. Okay. Their strength gym, it's got a lot of equipment in it, but it also had so many people. So many people. And then I realized, oh, that's what college people do is they go to the gym
Mm-hmm.
and they like work out. That's what normal college people do, I guess. Maybe not. I don't know.
Well,
And it was,
nowadays more probably.
I know, terrible experience. I mean, I walked in and I immediately wanted to leave.
How
Immediately wanted to leave.
how packed was it? And how big is the gym?
So,
Well,
okay.
give me an idea.
All right. Yeah. So the description of this gym is also horrible. So imagine
Which you're at
IU.
India. IU, okay.
Yeah. I,
So big school.
yeah.
Okay.
Big school, right? Imagine it was probably 30 by 30. Okay. So just a square
30 by 30 what?
feet. So
It's
I'm giving
really
you the,
small.
yeah, I know. Hey, I know. This is the strength part of the gym. So there's
Okay.
other like stairmaster elliptical stuff at another spot. This is just like benches and machines and free weight stuff.
Okay.
So it's 30 by 30, and then it's also like 30 feet tall. So it's just like this box. Okay. No windows, terrible lighting. Okay. And there's a mirror on one wall. Okay. Inside of this room, there was 100 people. 100 people, dude. 100.
Sounds like they need to get a bigger gym.
Like sweaty.
What time did you go?
Giant. There was the other issue too. But I went at like 4.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. In college, people are just free at the most random times. So
Right.
it could be packed at any time for all I'm aware. For For all I'm aware, that's not right. For
You're asking the wrong person. I said
yeah,
Chris
you
Bananas, Chris Pandas
Chris
earlier.
Pandas, dude. Chris Pandas. I'm excited to try those Chris Pandas.
I'm gonna have to show that to Lauren later. She's
Yeah,
gonna.
but anyways, I mean, it was just and like fortunately I walked in and there was an open bench. So I got in, just did a couple things on the bench. And then I was looking around and there were people waiting at every single thing.
Is there no like commercial gym around that area? I mean, I get it's free for like. I'm just
Planet
saying, like in
Fitness,
general.
like I I am no, I'm probably not going to go to Planet Fitness. And it's not a knock on Planet Fitness. It's just I don't really want to spend the $10 if I don't have to right now. Um, but yeah, dude, I mean,
Hmm.
it was scary. And the other reason I brought this up is I wanted to know your experience in college and college gyms.
So at U of L, when I first started going to U of L, they didn't have their current gym they have now. I think that gym got built and was there it started my senior year, even though I was paying for it. That's always the thing. Well, I was paying for it in my fees. I didn't get to use it till my senior year, which they have a great gym now. It's really big. Um, I never really went that much to the gym at U of L.
Yeah.
They had a decent size one. Sometimes it was really packed. I generally just always went to LAC Westport. It was always the one that was open, and I just went to. And I was still living at home with my parents, so I wasn't on campus,
Yeah.
so it was closer. So I really don't have
Okay.
too much of
I
a
got you.
experience, but I understand where you're coming from, and I think training and fitness it's just gotten a lot bigger because of. I mean, quite honestly, I think it's because of TikTok and
It's
Reels, and
definitely, I feel like it's definitely because of TikTok.
mhm,
Yeah.
just
I think people are making it more accessible. Like, I mean, even the things that you're doing where you're telling people what they can do at a gym, people feel more agency. There's a word.
mm,
They have more agency to go and do these things by themselves.
yeah.
So
Well, it's like TikTok and Reels, a combination of that kind of culture, but then it's also you've got like Andrew Huberman, which you talked about a little bit, and a lot of the health benefits that he's showing out about like training, whatever it is. And then you also have the other end of the spectrum, and this is actually something I wrote down. Do you know who Sam Sulek is?
no, I don't think so.
If you said the name to me, I wouldn't know who he is either. But and I'll actually pull up a video quick here in a second. He's becoming really popular on YouTube and TikTok over the past couple of months or so. I definitely seen him pop up more. I'm gonna pull up a video of him to see if you've seen him yet. And the reason I bring him up is he has a lot of great content. He's one of those bodybuilder, really big guys that is having a pretty big impact. He has a lot of good knowledge. A lot of the videos he's putting out, he's basically just telling people specifically, this is what you should do, being very brutally honest about a lot of stuff that he does. And people seem to like, they enjoy that. I was looking at his YouTube before we started, and a lot of his videos are half million, almost a million views, and some are
Nice.
like an hour and 50 minutes long. And it's just people again, they like that style of content, and he's a big dude. But and I don't want to take anything away from him because he definitely works hard, and I don't know too much about him, but there's definitely a caveat to some of this, the reasoning that I'm going to show you in a second. I'm going to just show, he's in the bottom. You'll see him here. Just look at him.
Jacked. Jesus.
Huge, right?
Yeah.
Really big dude. Okay. Guess how old he is.
How old?
Guess how old he is. See how big he was?
I mean, like, realistically, with no other substances, mid 20s, early 30s.
So he just recently turned 21.
Wow.
And again, I don't know too much about it, but and he's definitely a freak of nature. I think one of the best ways that someone explained him is he's kind of the Brock Lesnar of the bodybuilding industry at his age, that you could do everything that Brock Lesnar ever did and never be how big he is because he's just a freak of nature kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
LeBron James, whoever you want to put in that category of freaks. But the issue is there's a lot more prevalence of younger kids getting into PEDs, steroids,
Yeah.
and testosterone use at a younger age. It's kind of becoming a problem, I think, and it's something that needs to be more talked about. And Athlete X and a couple people are putting videos about it, and they're kind of saying the same things that I did. It's like, okay, we got to talk about this a little bit.
Do you think, I mean, I guess you could say it here, but like, do you feel like he's on some sort of enhancement?
I was trying to look it up beforehand, and it's always tricky of whether he's admitted to it
I
or not.
know. I know.
Some people do 100% admit to doing stuff. At his size, it's really hard to say that he's not. I don't want to take anything away from him. He
I
definitely works hard in
know.
that sense. But it's
You got to take a stance. Come on.
yeah, I think he's on
I
something.
know.
Well, it's
Yeah.
kind of like, is The Rock on steroids? I
No,
think so. Yeah,
I know
a
what you
little
mean.
different there, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's
I
just
feel like that's a tough thing, right? In this area of like the internet or entertainment or whatever you want to call it, is I feel like, and maybe you could talk about this, but I feel like your body is kind of your best advertisement a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm not like, I don't want to diminish it to that because the knowledge is super, super important, and especially in an area like fitness and exercise and sports performance. But like, if you're not fit, if you're not, if you don't look like that, sometimes people don't take you seriously.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, you could get on a whole rabbit hole of how it does sell for sure. Whether it's bodybuilding, anything,
Yeah,
it does catch attention, and yeah. I mean, that's a whole other conversation
I
to be
know.
honest
I
that we
know
could
it
go.
is.
But yeah, no, it's just my main concern is being that young and doing steroids and
It's
PEDs and how it affects your
damaging.
body. I don't know enough about it, but from a standpoint, I can almost guarantee to not do it versus doing it. It's probably going to be better off if you don't, you
Yeah,
know,
shocker.
in a sense. But yeah, but it's an interesting world out there as far as what younger people being influenced by. That's super young to be on something, and your body and brain is still kind of developing.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, what are we doing? And also just being that size, as frustrating as it can be, and this is going to go against some people like bodybuilding for sure. I want to be bigger. If you're not 200 pounds, you should always be at Planet Fitness. I heard that earlier today on a video.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you're not over 200 pounds, or no, it was, if you're not over 200 pounds, don't complain about being something like that. Something kind of condescending and whatever. But
Cool. Yeah, that was the other thing. That was the other thing. You know what? You finish your point, and then I'm finishing my college gym thing.
okay.
All right.
But having a certain, even if you're fit, even if you are lean, once you get to actual certain percentage of just like weight based on your height, even if you're fit, it does have a toll on your overall longevity. And that's related to some stuff from Dr. David Sinclair. So even if, I'm 5'10", I weigh 180, technically on a BMI calculator, I'm overweight.
Yeah.
What's my body fat percentage, blah, blah, blah. But if I was 5'10" and 200 pounds, it's going to wear on my body. And if I'm even more, it's going to, even if I'm jacked, it does wear you down. There's a whole story in that. So continue. I don't want to continue your
Dude, I
rant.
don't know. Like the gym stigma and stereotype was so alive in that 30 by 30 by 30 cube that I was in. It was so awful to just look around the room and see everything I hate about the gym.
Will you please elaborate and out yourself?
Just
We can.
everything. Everything I hate about the gym. I mean, people that are jacked, people that are the most like gym bro, shorter shorts are in style, which I dig them. I dig them, but man, if I can see your crotch, I don't want to see it, man. Um, lifting the most amount of weight you possibly can just to do it. Um, the loud noise of throwing down your weight at the end, dude, all of it was present in the 15 minutes I was there. I left after like 15 minutes because I just couldn't handle standing there.
Yeah. No, I get it. Some of the stigmas of it can be really just like, man, it can be a lot. And well, it's like the whole, this kind of goes back to, no, it goes back to the same a little bit. Younger generations in their weightlifting, the super heavy lifting, if you're not doing a full range of motion and you haven't built a good base, at the end of the day, you're probably just going to have a lot of joint issues down the road. So my recommendation, if you haven't been lifting for, I mean, at least 5 years. And I know it seems like a lot. You really shouldn't be doing anything super, super crazy if you're not doing a full range of motion. I get it, ego, whatever, but I know what you mean.
Dude, I never want to go back unless it's like me alone in there.
Me, myself, and I is all I want.
I would kill it. That would be, oh, so beautiful.
All right, we're gonna end this off with one last thing, maybe two. I'm gonna get into it. No, let's go two. Let's go here and there. Do you have a pair of AirPods?
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
I've had them for a while.
Okay. So I love my AirPods. Walking the dog, easy to put in, pop, pop, pop. I also have a pair of Beats that have the kind of hook.
Mm-hmm.
They're the small with the hook.
Yeah.
I wear those to the gym because they're gonna stay in. Like those are my favorite workout. Whatever I'm gonna do, they're staying in. And I have always had a joke that if you are someone that can wear AirPods, especially the ones with the strings, not AirPods, but just like regular Apple earphones, and you can run and they don't fall out, I don't know if I trust you as a human being because you might not be one because you have an alien holding on to that in your ear. Do you have the same opinion as I do, or do they stay on your ear?
So when I was training for my half marathon, I would always run with my AirPods in. And there was always a moment in the run where my just something about the inside of my ears got sweaty and they would start like loosening up and trying to fall out. So I would have to like fidget with them and like mess with them to keep them in. So I'm like sort of in your alien world, you know?
Yeah.
I'm sort of an alien to you, but I'm also sort of human.
And there's a couple reasons I bring it up. First of all, if I went outside right now, I got my AirPods right here for some reason,
Yeah.
and I try to, they would fall immediately. Maybe it's my ears, my
Yeah,
ear holes.
I think maybe you're the alien.
Well, I say
I
that,
think you're crazy.
and the reason I bring that up is there is a skater named Nija Houston, which Nija's really cool. I've always followed him. I don't, do you know who Nija is?
I don't know who that is.
He's a skateboarder. He's won a ton of awards.
I'm
Cool
looking
dude.
him up.
And I was watching. He won some event the other day, street skating, doing a trick. He's got his AirPods in. This dude is going up on a rail that's at least 3 or 4 feet off the ground, probably 2, 3 feet off the ground. I don't know how high it is, to be honest.
Yeah.
Grinding on a board while spinning and then landing it with impact, and they're staying in. Like, what kind of ears do you have for that to be a possibility?
Well, have you seen the AirPod Pros?
They have a little rubber bit, right?
Yeah, and you can change the size. I don't know. Maybe he has
Maybe,
those on.
maybe, but still, they're not going to stay in my. Maybe it's just my ears. I don't know. It's just I saw that and I was
You
like,
have
what the
little
heck?
ears, little
I don't.
small ears.
Maybe it means I have big ear holes and they don't like to stay in. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know, man. I couldn't
Yeah,
answer that question
that
for
was my
you.
one thing. Oh, this was the other. I got to show this, and so this episode will come out in like far enough away. Friday is fall,
Mm-hmm.
beginning of fall. So I'm gonna. I've kind of committed to doing different launches of apparel, whatever, just for fun. I can change it up however I want. And Cole hasn't seen this yet, and everyone will have a chance to see this. I'm probably gonna do 1 or 2 different designs, but this is gonna be the fall edge apparel. One of the designs. Look at this puppy. You have no idea.
Oh, that is so sick. That is so sick. I'll be
I
getting one of those instantly. How many
look at that, man.
colors?
There's gonna be a bunch of different colors.
Oh, dude, all of them. I want all of them.
The
Dude, you should make a crew neck sweater.
I am gonna mix crew necks, so it's gonna.
Oh, dude, it's over. It's over. That is so sick.
I've been working on it a lot, and I've been asking Lauren a ton of questions, like do this, change that, eye colors. And if you're just listening, it's basically what I did is I took Kylo and I put him into a ghost costume and put
Oh,
him on
it's
top
so
of an Edge
sick.
logo with a pumpkin. It looks. I think it looks just like him too.
Dude, that is your best design so far.
I'm getting
You gonna do a
fast.
you gonna do a Christmas special one?
I already know what I'm gonna do.
Yup. All right, cool. All right, cool.
There's not too many people that listen to the podcast, so I'll say it. I'll say what the it's definitely gonna be a Grinch one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That was the first thing I was thinking. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Got him. I mean, he's got the fluffy ears. I can change it up and make him green. It's definitely gonna be Grinch, and then I might have like a Max, but the Max is like something that's not a dog because he's a dog. So you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna make it's gonna be
You should be Max.
just put my face
We'll
on
animate your face.
that would be wild. I'll be
That'd be
Max
fun.
and Kylo's the Grinch. Yeah,
I
it's
like
definitely
that.
gonna be Grinch for Christmas. All right, this is the last thing that I do want to talk about because it is relevant, and you haven't seen it. I just want. I finished. We talked about it last episode actually. I finished the live action first season of One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm up to a little over 100 episodes of the anime. So I've watched a tenth of what is out.
Yeah.
But the story that's in the live action, I've seen all of the episodes. And I looked up IMDb reviews. I looked up like Moist Critical did a review on
Mm-hmm.
it, and as far as the live action goes, and whether it worked or whatnot. And I got to the end of it, and I was like, I don't know how I feel. And then I was like, but it also, as I kept thinking more and more about it, I think they did it. I think they finally, there's some issues with it, but I think they finally have made a live action show of an anime or something that's a little bit more outlandish. Like Avatar's one didn't work,
Just
even though it's not anime.
animated. Yeah,
Yeah.
animated stuff.
And I think they did it, and they're already second season, but I'm interested. And I would be also interested and having you watch it means you haven't seen the anime and
Okay.
then give your opinion on whether you think it was too campy, too cheesy, or you think it just like I think someone that hasn't seen the anime could also be like, this sucks. But then on IMDb, there's reviews of people saying, never even watched the anime and I love the show.
Huh. Okay. Well, I'll watch it. I'll let you know.
Mm,
I'll give you my review. How many episodes is it? I'm not committing to 1,000, right?
I think it's
Good.
9. I think it's
All
like
right.
9, and they're like 45 minutes long. And
That's fine.
I couldn't stop watching it. I was like, I want to watch next episode. Even though I knew the story, they change it up a little bit and they change up enough that they can get it in. And my brother's going to watch it too. And I'm going to have him kind of give his opinion as well because he hasn't seen the anime. But I think they did it, man.
That's cool. I mean, I feel like that's a really hard thing to do, obviously, because there's not a lot of success in that area yet. So
Yeah,
it's impressive.
just know if you do watch it, there are some kind of campy, weird feels for sure.
Well, I mean, that's kind of anime, right? So,
Yeah, it's definitely in there. And at the end of it, again, when I finished it, there was certain parts about the live action that were similar enough to the anime, but also they almost made certain stuff better.
hmm,
So, for example,
okay.
there's a character named Sanji. I like Sanji. He's one of the main characters. Like, there's like 5 main characters right now, 4 or 5. And Sanji in the anime, I like him, but the actor that plays him and the way they kind of like show him in the live action, he's almost better,
Ooh, that's cool.
which is like, okay.
That's pretty hype. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, some of the acting in it, like one of the bad guys, I won't say who it is, one of the bad guys, his makeup isn't the best. It's good. It's not the best in comparison to the anime, but he's so compelling as being the bad guy that it's like, it works.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a pretty strong recommendation. So,
Yeah. It's a no. I want my hope my brother will watch it, and then if you want to watch it, please do so.
yeah, I'll watch it.
I think you'll enjoy it. Just take it with go into it very open minded and let it be what it is, and then
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay,
For
yeah,
sure.
it's good. All right, man. Well,
That's it. We ended. This was a reverse podcast. We talked about sports all the way to the very end.
yeah, we didn't know this is the most sports we've ever talked about.
I know. Glad you made it here. Leave a like. Do anything else you want. I don't really care. Have a good day.